What's going on, guys? Christian Brindle here, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to sell a ton of Medicare Advantage plans. This is a topic that I feel incredibly comfortable talking about because there are few people that I have ever encountered in our entire industry that have individually, on their own pen, sold more Medicare Advantage plans than I have. And I'm not saying that to brag or to boast, but more so just to say, I know this topic. My agency has been about 80% Medicare Advantage production and 20% Medicare supplement production. So I know both incredibly well, but there's few things in life I know as much about as Medicare Advantage. So without further ado, let's get into this. This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes has got you covered when it comes to telemarketed leads and virtual staffing. On the lead side, whether it be Medicare supplement leads, final expense leads, turning 65 leads, they just got something for everybody. They can also actually have you plug in with one of their virtual staff members on the staffing side to where you can pay by the hour for one of their trained and very well vetted staff members to help you out in your business in a virtual assistant format. Just because you watch this video, they're going to give you 10% off any order you make on their website. Link to the site can be found down in the description, so go ahead and check them out. Okay, guys, I'm going to take you through step by step what you need to do in order to sell a ton of Medicare Advantage. For those of you that might be interested to know, I have been a top producer for 6 different Medicare Advantage companies, most of which many times over and over again, okay? So let's just kind of jump right into what it takes to sell a ton of Medicare Advantage plans. And I have it mapped out for you. So I have a roadmap here on the whiteboard that you need to follow step by step in order to get this done, okay? Medicare Advantage plans might not sound like an incredibly difficult thing to sell, right? It's typically often a $0 premium plan. You do not need banking information, even if the plan has a premium. If someone's drawing off of Social Security, you can have it come out of that automatically. So you might be asking yourself, well, Christian, what's the big deal? What's so hard about it in terms to sell? Well, I think it's the understanding of the product, understanding of the characteristics, understanding of the compliance, and the understanding of the marketing in terms of getting in front of people. So we're going to talk about all of that, okay? So number one on our list here, you have to become what's known as ready to sell, RTS. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in order to sell Medicare Advantage plans and products, there is a little bit of a barrier to entry for agents and brokers, right? So not only do you have to be licensed with your particular state, you also have to be AHIP certified, which is a third-party organization that does testing. It stands for America's Health Insurance Producers. You have to take this AHIP certification. I have a ton of videos about it, so just go on the channel, search AHIP. I'm not going to go into it on this, but you also have to pass the insurance company's certifications, right? So that is what I would call the barrier to entry. And not only do you have to do it the first time around, you have to do it every single year and renew your AHIP and renew your certifications in order to keep not only continuing to sell their plans and their products, but also to be able to retain your book of business and your clientele and your renewal commissions, okay? So the first thing you have to do always is to become ready to sell, okay? So that's number one. Step number 2, understand the compliance of Medicare Advantage plans. So what do I mean by that? Well, with Medicare Advantage, because they are federally funded programs, they have a lot of rules and regulations that you must follow, a lot of which are actually tightening and intensifying coming in the fall, starting October 1st with the new final rule regulation that CMS has kind of come down with, okay? So number one thing you need to understand with Medicare Advantage is you cannot present Medicare Advantage benefits to somebody without first having the individual sign a document known as a scope of appointment, SOA. Now, there's many different ways you can get a scope of appointment in today's day and age. When I started, we had to get a paper scope of appointment signed. When I started, you had to get this scope of appointment signed 48 hours before the appointment, which made it so much harder. It's not nearly as difficult today. You just have to have it signed before you actually start presenting your appointment and before you actually start presenting specific plan benefits, okay? So you can get an email scope of appointment, a text message scope of appointment, a physical paper scope of appointment, and with a lot of insurance companies, they have the option of having a telephonic scope of appointment where there's a phone line they have access to. You can call that phone line and it gets recorded over the phone, okay? And they give you a confirmation number. So a lot of different options, and you can do it at the same day and time as the appointment. You just have to get it signed before you go into specific plan benefits. So make sure that you're always getting your scope of appointments. It is Medicare and CMS regulation that you keep all scope of appointment documents for 10 years. So make sure that you're not just getting them signed and throwing them away. Keep them documented and filed because you may need them someday, okay? So scope of appointments. The other thing in terms of compliance. Now, I don't like talking about all this compliance stuff so much, guys, because I am not the compliance police, but I just want to make sure that you guys stay out of trouble. So I thought it was important for us to talk about for anybody that might not be aware of these things, okay? So other thing with Medicare Advantage plans, with the new final rule regulation, this has been talked about a lot, but I'll just reference it a little bit. If you are making a sales call, let's say you're calling a lead, if you're selling something over the phone, or even if you're making a phone call outbound or inbound, or if you're getting a call inbound, doesn't really matter, to sell Medicare Advantage and or Part D prescription drug plans, you have to record the call. And you have to keep the call recorded for 10 years. So you have to file that, store that. If you are interested in kind of knowing how my agency does that, we've actually put out a little training, a little 6 to 8 video training about automation and how we're doing this automatically without having to individually, manually download files and upload them, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're interested in knowing about that, comment down below. I want to know more about automation, and I'll get you set up with a link to that if that's something you're interested in looking into. But you have to do this. This is a new rule and regulation, okay? The other thing is you have to read a CMS disclaimer, okay? So the CMS disclaimer states that basically I don't carry every single plan in my market, and if you want a full list of plans, call 1-800-MEDICARE. That's basically what it says, more or less, and you're supposed to recite that in the first 60 seconds of the call. So keep that in mind, okay? That's a new rule and a new regulation. Also, if you're advertising or marketing specific Medicare Advantage plans or benefits, you have to put that regulation on your marketing piece, whether it's a Facebook ad, whether it's a direct mail piece or anything like that. Now, if you're just advertising for Medicare in general, I have been told from very, very credible sources like compliance officers, carriers, and things like that, that it's not going to be required for that. So that's kind of cool. There has been nothing in writing from Medicare, CMS, or a carrier to make us think that you're going to have to record in-person appointments. So it's just phone calls, okay? So understand the compliance of it. I know it might sound like a lot, but I think if you're just following those rules and regulations, just get your scope of appointments, make sure you do the right thing for people, you're going to be just fine. You just want to have the documentation in case anyone ever files an allegation, which in our business does happen even if you do everything right. I don't care who you are, all of you holier-than-thou agents out there, if you've never had an allegation, it just means you haven't helped very many people. Okay, that's just the truth. Because when you're dealing with seniors, you deal with people with memory issues, and you might not even know they have memory issues. They just might forget 6 months later what you told them. So it's good to have the documentation, because if you have the documentation, it protects yourself more than anything else. So this stuff is good, even whether it was required or not in terms of the documentation and all that other stuff. Okay, so understand the compliance. There's a lot more compliance in selling Medicare Advantage than there is selling ACA, life insurance, Medicare supplements, all that stuff. But there's also a lot of rewards for selling lots of Medicare Advantage. Trust me on this, okay? It's basically built my career, okay? Medicare Advantage plans bought my house. They pay for the office. They pay for my marketing. They do my payroll. That's where all the funding comes from, okay? It's Medicare Advantage production, you guys. Production, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so number 2, understand the compliance. Number 3, understand the best way to get in front of people compliantly, okay? So I would say the best ways to do that in 2022 going into 2023 is going to be leads, because you get permission to contact with a lead, right? If you get a lead that's compliant, Medicare Advantage marketing, them calling in or sending out back a reply card or whatever the case might be, or filling out a form, gives you the permission to call them. Another important rule with Medicare Advantage is you cannot make unsolicited calls. You can't call them out of the blue and solicit them Medicare Advantage plans. It's against the rules. So you need permission to contact. You can call them if they gave you the approval. So leads give you that. The other thing is seminars. Being able to present Medicare Advantage information and Medicare information in general to a group of people is very attractive, very lucrative, and it's absolutely on fire right now. So seminars is a great way to do this. And also, when you help people, and through people you know, or maybe even other agents, if they send a referral to you and they contact you, then that's of course okay and compliant as well. So those are going to be the three, right? I would come up with a very diverse and very bulletproof marketing plan to where you are using all three of those in some mixture, in some form or fashion to your disposal, okay? Because that's how you're going to get in front of a lot of people quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you're going to do it compliantly, most importantly, okay? So those would be my three in getting in front of people, okay? So number 4, learn your products in your market to dominate. The reason why I say to dominate is because most of the direct competition you're going to be facing selling Medicare Advantage don't know jack shit about the plans. I said it, and that's true. They don't know a thing about the plans usually, because oftentimes your direct competitors are call centers, people that are calling people, right? People that are trying to sell Medicare Advantage in all 50 states. What do we know about Medicare Advantage? The plan benefits are dramatically different from one area to another. One plan might be incredibly good and competitive in one market, and it's a good option for folks. In another market, it could be a completely different plan, but it might have the same name, and a call center person says, oh, it was good here, it must be good there. Not true. And they don't know that. They're never going to know that, so they're going to screw up and mess people up all the time. It's easy for you to come in as a local broker, as an independent agent, and clean up the mess, okay? You can pick them off very easily, and you can dominate your competition because most of the people you're going up head-to-head are not going to know what you know. So you should try to, especially if you live in a market that has 5, maybe 10, maybe even 15 Medicare Advantage companies, you should do everything you can to have the benefits known very well. So study them in your free time, not during your income producing hours, right? During the day, you should be trying to get in front of people, and you're going to learn a lot by doing that as well. But in your off time, right? In the evenings, on the weekends, you are going to want to study your plans. So know what makes this company good. What's their selling point? What's their value proposition? Know how they differ from this other company. And have that information, that know-how down, because there's nothing that makes people more warm and fuzzy feeling about working with you than knowing that if they ask you a question, you got an answer like that, okay? People like that. So learn your products and learn them quickly and be a master of your market, because the people that you're going up against aren't going to know 5% about what you know. And you're going to be able just to steamroll them and dominate them and dunk on them, and it's not going to be that hard. But you got to learn the products to be able to do that, okay? So that's number 4. Number 5, learn how to look for weaknesses in coverage. So every single Medicare Advantage plan is going to have its positives and negatives, okay? So even when you're running into folks that already have Medicare Advantage plans out into the marketplace, it's very, very important that you know the coverages incredibly well. And that kind of bleeds back into number 4. But if you know this plan is very good on prescription drugs, it's very good on medical, it has a big network, but it's not good on dental, and someone's primary focus is dental, you'll know you can move them to this other plan, and that's going to fix that problem, okay? You need to know every plan's strengths and weaknesses, so that way you can actually look for things and when you're actually meeting with people. A good question to ask people is, what is the most important thing to you? What is the most important thing to you? Is it your medical coverage? Is it your network? Is it your dental? Like, what is the top priority for you? It's a good thing to ask your clients that, so you get a clear understanding of what matters to them. They might be on the best plan already. You don't want to waste time presenting benefits if it's not important to them. So it's not a bad thing to ask them, all right, what is your top priority in your plan? Of course, we want to do the best in every category you possibly can, but what is the absolute top priority for you? And what do you wish your plan did more of? Knowing that and knowing how to decipher these things is very, very important, okay? So one thing I'm going to add to number 5 that I actually didn't write on the board here, but this is important. Learn the election periods on Medicare Advantage plans. And what I mean by that is Medicare Advantage plans, you don't have the option or the ability to enroll any time of the year. You have to be either in open enrollment, or you have to either be eligible for an election period, an enrollment period, a special enrollment period, your initial enrollment period, which is essentially when you're turning 65, you can write those people all year round. But learn your election periods. You might have a 5-star plan available in your area. 5-star plans give you a year-round election period where someone can move into that plan if they haven't enrolled into another 5-star plan earlier in the year. So that's a year-round election period that you can use. People that are dually eligible, like Medicare and Medicaid beneficiaries, they can enroll into a plan and make a change one time per quarter in the first 3 quarters of the year. So that's an election period you can use all year round. So understand your election periods and study them. Both United Healthcare and Humana have great election period charts within their broker portals that you can go in and download and study and have a good feel for the election periods, because if you know them and you know them well, you'll be out in the field and you'll be like, okay, I can help this person because they qualify for this election period. But if you don't know that stuff, you might take an application for someone you can't write and waste your time, or you might think you can't help somebody and you walk into the house when you really could. So know that very well and get that down, and you're going to be able to be sharp. You're going to be a machine, right, when you're out there in the field helping people, okay? That's number 5. Number 6, easy guys, rinse and repeat. This is the stuff that you need to do. You do this step by step, rinse and repeat, show up consistently. The key to winning and the key to domination and the key to massive success is massive consistency and massive action. So make sure that you're showing up every single day, every single week, and you're not taking days off. You're not just showing up when it's convenient. You're not just showing up when you feel like it. You're consistently putting together a routine and going through this day in and day out. And by doing this, you're going to write a ton of Medicare Advantage business. And if I had to add one more thing to it, guys, just as like a little extra because you made it this far into the video, always make sure that you are recommending a plan to somebody that you would enroll into in their shoes, right? Do the right thing for people, have a heart to serve, and if you're doing that, you'll be able to help a lot of people. They'll love you forever. They'll have a relationship with you. They'll want to stay with you for 10 years instead of just 6 months. You won't be getting that many chargebacks, and you'll just be able to help a lot of people and get lots of referrals because people will talk about what a great experience they had working with you. So that is my keys and my tips to sell a ton of Medicare Advantage. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you like this kind of content, do me a favor, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, because if you don't, I'm gonna go crazy, okay? It helps us find more agents just like you who need to see our content, who need our help, and you can be doing someone a favor by helping them find our content by helping us by smashing the like button. Comment down below, do you like this kind of video? Do you agree with my methods? Do you agree with my steps? Is there anything you'd add to it? I'd love to have a dialogue with you and see what you have to say about that. Also, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified when we upload. We upload videos weekly to help you be more successful in your business. And until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Here's to your success and your abundance, and I'll see you at the top. Thanks, guys.